Hello and welcome to Chui Reads. Today's story is called My Alpha Boss Found My Secret Fanfic. About him. It's a fun Omegaverse romance with lots of tension and a sweet ending. Let's begin. My name is Chen, and I'm a perfectly normal Omega working as a junior marketing coordinator at Apex Industries. Well, mostly normal. Except for one tiny, mortifying secret. I write fanfiction about my boss. In my defense, Dominic Kane practically writes himself. He's the textbook definition of an alpha, tall, broad-shouldered, with sharp gray eyes that could cut through steel and a commanding presence that makes every Omega in the office go weak at the knees. He's brilliant, ruthless in business, and unfortunately for my peace of mind, devastatingly attractive. But here's the thing, I would never actually pursue him, ever. Writing fanfiction is my safe outlet, my private fantasy world where I can imagine what it would be like if someone like Dominic Kane noticed someone like me on the anonymous writing platform, Omegaverse Dreams. I'm known as Midnight Omega, and my ongoing series, The CEO's Secret Omega, has over 50,000 hits. It's harmless. It's private. Or at least, it was. The trouble started on a rainy Tuesday morning. I was running late. My alarm hadn't gone off, my hair was a mess, and I'd grabbed my laptop bag in a panic. I burst into the office at 9:15, drenched and flustered, just in time for our weekly marketing meeting. "Nice of you to join us, Chen," Dominic said coolly from the head of the conference table, one dark eyebrow raised. His alpha pheromones carried a hint of disapproval that made my Omega instincts want to apologize profusely. "Sorry, Mr. Kane," I mumbled, sliding into my seat and fumbling with my laptop. The meeting proceeded normally. Dominic discussed our new campaign, his voice smooth and authoritative. I tried to focus, but I was distracted by how good he looked in that charcoal suit. How his fingers drummed thoughtfully against the table. "Stop it, Riley. You're at work." "Chen, are you paying attention?" I jerked my head up. "Yes, absolutely. The social media metrics for Q4. His eyes narrowed slightly, but he continued. I forced myself to take notes, to be professional. But then disaster struck. My laptop chose that exact moment to die. The screen went black with a sad little beep. "Damn it," I whispered. The battery had been acting up lately, but I thought I'd charged it. "Clearly not." "Problem?" Dominic asked. "Just my laptop. It's fine, I'll charge it after the meeting." But I still needed to take notes. Without thinking, I reached into my bag for my tablet and pulled out the wrong device. In my morning panic, I'd grabbed my personal tablet instead of my work one. The tablet that had my fanfiction app still open. The tablet that I unlocked and immediately saw my latest chapter displayed in all its glory. Chapter 47, The Alpha's Claiming. My blood turned to ice. I quickly locked the screen, my heart hammering. That was close. Too close. I glanced around nervously, but everyone was focused on Dominic's presentation. Crisis averted, or so I thought. After the meeting ended, I rushed back to my desk to swap devices. But in my hurry, I left my personal tablet on the conference room table. I didn't realize it until 2 hours later, when my desk phone rang. "Chen, my office. Now." Dominic's voice was clipped, almost odd. I couldn't quite place the tone. Anxiety spiked through me. Had I messed something up? I racked my brain trying to remember if I'd missed a deadline. I knocked on his office door. "You wanted to see me, Mr. Kane? Come in." Closed the door. I obeyed my Omega instincts, hyper-aware of being alone with such a powerful alpha in his territory. His office was immaculate, floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist furniture, and the faint scent of his alpha pheromones. Cedar and something darker, more primal. He was standing by his desk, and in his hands was my tablet. My personal tablet. Oh God. Oh no. Oh please, universe, open up and swallow me whole. I believe this is yours, Dominic said, his voice dangerously calm. You left it in the conference room. Oh, yes, thank you. I reached for it, but he didn't hand it over. It was unlocked when I picked it. The screen was still on. Every cell in my body screamed at me to run. My Omega instincts were going haywire, caught between submission and the overwhelming urge to flee. I can explain. Can you? He set the tablet down on his desk and crossed his arms. Because what I saw was quite interesting. Chapter 47. The Alphas Claiming. A story about a CEO named Dominic and his secret Omega employee River. Very creative names. I wanted to die, actually cease to exist, evaporate into nothingness. Mr. Kane, I am so sorry. It's fiction. It doesn't mean anything. I would never. You've written 47 chapters? The question caught me off guard. Yes. How long have you been writing this? About 8 months. My voice was barely a whisper. He was quiet for a long moment, studying me with those intense gray eyes. I couldn't read his expression. Was he angry? Disgusted? Amused? His alpha scent was strangely controlled, giving nothing away. 8 months, he repeated. That's quite dedicated. I'll delete it, I said, quickly. All of it. And I'll submit my resignation. I don't recall asking you to quit. I blinked. You don't. He moved around his desk, closer to me, and my breath caught. He was so tall, so overwhelming. My Omega biology screamed at me to submit, to tilt my head and bare my neck, but I fought the instinct. I'm curious, Riley. The use of my first name sent a shiver down my spine. In your story, does the CEO eventually realize his feelings for his employee? This was surreal. Yes, in chapter 32. And does River feel the same way? Yes. Interesting. He leaned against his desk, still watching me with that unreadable expression. Tell me something. Is this purely fiction, or is there some truth to it? My face was on fire. Mr. Kane, Dominic, if you're going to write 47 chapters of fanfiction about me, the least you can do is use my first name. Was he teasing me? The slight quirk of his lips suggested he might be, but I couldn't be sure. I don't understand, I said, weakly. Aren't you angry? Angry? He tilted his head. I'm many things right now, Riley. Angry isn't one of them. Then, what? He was quiet for a moment, as if considering his words carefully. Intrigued, flattered, and somewhat frustrated with myself. Frustrated. Do you know how long I've been aware of your scent? He asked suddenly. Every morning when you walk past my office, every meeting where you sit 3 seats away, your Omega scent, vanilla and jasmine. It's been driving me insane for months. I stared at him, unable to process what I was hearing. But you're my employee, he continued. There are power dynamics, HR policies, professional boundaries. I've spent 8 months convincing myself that my attraction to you was inappropriate, that I needed to maintain distance. You're attracted to me? The words came out as a squeak. Devastatingly so. He pushed off from the desk and took a step closer. And then I pick up your tablet and discover that apparently you've been equally tormented, writing elaborate fantasies about us. Did you really think I wouldn't recognize myself in your character? I hoped you'd never find out. I admitted. Well, I have. And now we're here. He was close enough now that I could feel the warmth radiating from him, could smell his cedar scent intensifying. So I need to know, Riley, is this just fantasy for you? Just stories? Or is there something real underneath it? My heart was thundering so hard I was sure he could hear it. I don't know what you want me to say. The truth. The truth. I laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. The truth is that I've had a crush on you since my first day. The truth is that I started writing fanfiction because I needed an outlet for feelings I could never act on. The truth is that every chapter one write is just another way of torturing myself with something I can't have. Can't have. His voice dropped lower and suddenly his hand was at my chin, tilting my face up to meet his gaze. What makes you think you can't have me? The touch sent electricity through my entire body. His thumb brushed across my lower lip, and I couldn't suppress the small whimper that escaped. Riley, my name on his lips, was almost a growl. I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to answer honestly. Do you want this? Not the story version, not the fantasy. Do you want me? Yes. The word tumbled out before I could stop it. God, yes. His eyes darkened, and suddenly his scent intensified, pure alpha, dominant and possessive. My Omega biology responded. Instantly, my body going pliant. Then we have a problem, he murmured. Because now that I know you want me, now that I've held your fantasies in my hands and read every filthy, beautiful word you've written, I don't think I can go back to pretending I don't want you to. What are you saying? Whispered. I'm saying that we should probably discuss HR protocols for workplace relationships. I'm saying that I should take you to dinner first, do this properly. I'm saying that I should be professional and careful and slow. But his lips curved into a smile that was pure predator. But I've wanted you for 8 months, Riley. I've been the epitome of professional restraint. And now I've read 47 chapters of your fantasies, and all that restraint is hanging by a thread. Before I could respond, he closed the distance between us, his lips capturing mine in a kiss that made my knees buckle. He caught me easily, one arm wrapping around my waist and pulling me flush against him. The kiss was everything I'd written about, and more, demanding, possessive, absolutely consuming. His alpha pheromones washed over me, and my Omega biology sang in response. When he finally pulled back, we were both breathing hard. We're doing this properly, he said firmly, even as his hands remained on my waist. Dinner, dating, HR, paperwork, the whole thing. Okay, I managed. But first, he reached past me to grab my tablet from his desk. You're going to let me read the rest of your story, all 47 chapters. What? No, that's so embarrassing. Riley, his voice dropped to that commanding alpha tone that made my Omega instincts weak. You've been writing fantasies about me for 8 months. The least you can do is let me read them. You're going to judge my writing, I protested weakly. I'm going to enjoy every word. He pressed another kiss to my lips, softer this time. And then maybe, if you're very good, I'll tell you which scenes I'd like to recreate. Heat flooded through me at the suggestion. That's presumptuous? Forward. He grinned. You wrote them, sweetheart. I'm just expressing my appreciation for your creativity. Despite my mortification, I couldn't help but laugh. This is insane. This morning I was panicking about being late to a meeting, and now you're standing in your alpha boss's office after he's discovered your fanfiction and kissed you senseless. When you put it that way, it sounds like a bad romance novel. Or a very good one. He tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, the gesture surprisingly tender. For what it's worth, Riley, your writing is excellent. The characterization is spot on. The tension is well built, and the emotional beats are genuinely moving. I stared at him. You actually read? Like, really read it? Every word that was on the screen. You're talented. His expression grew more serious. And you've clearly put a lot of thought into what you want, into what would make you happy. It's just fantasy, I said, softly. Maybe it doesn't have to be. He pressed his forehead to mine. Maybe we can make our own story. One that's real. My heart swelled. I'd like that. Good. Because I don't do anything halfway, Riley. If we're doing this, I'm all in. Dates, romance, the whole thing. And yes, I'll fill out whatever HR forms necessary to make sure everything is proper and above board. What about the office gossip? People are going to talk. Let them talk. You're worth it. He kissed me again, slow and deep. Besides, if anyone has a problem with it, they can take it up with me. The alpha authority in his voice made me shiver in a good way. So, I said when we finally broke apart, what happens now? Now you're going to go back to your desk and pretend to work for the rest of the day. I'm going to schedule a meeting with HR to discuss proper protocols for workplace relationships. And then tonight, I'm taking you to dinner. Tonight. I've waited 8 months, Riley. I'm not waiting another day. His smile was warm, genuine. Besides, I need to know what happens in chapter 48. Does River finally tell Dominic about his heat cycle? My face flamed. Oh my God, you did not read that far. I told you I read everything on the screen, and now I'm very interested in the rest. He handed me my tablet with a smirk. Don't worry, I'll be a respectful reader. I'll even leave comments. Please don't leave comments. My readers will wonder why someone who sounds exactly like my boss is suddenly commenting on my FIC. He laughed, and the sound was rich and warm. Fair point. I'll contain my enthusiasm to private feedback. I couldn't help but smile, even through my embarrassment. This whole situation was absurd, surreal, and absolutely not how I'd expected my day to go. But as I looked up at Dominic, my boss, my fantasy, and apparently now my whatever he was going to be, I realized that sometimes reality could be better than fiction. One more thing, he said as I turned to leave. Yes. His expression grew intense. In chapter 23, when Dominic finally pins River against the wall and tells him exactly what he wants to do to him, I want you to know that I've imagined that exact scenario at least a dozen times. Heat pooled in my stomach. You? Really? Really? So when you write chapter 48, keep that in mind. Your fiction might be about to become very, very real. With my face burning and my heart racing, I fled his office, clutching my tablet to my chest. Behind me, I heard his low chuckle, and, despite everything, the embarrassment, the shock, the absolute insanity of the situation, I couldn't stop smiling. Maybe getting caught wasn't the worst thing that could have happened after all. Epilogue 3 months later. So, Dominic said, reading over my shoulder as I typed on my laptop in his apartment. In this chapter, River moves in with Dominic. Art imitating life, I said, with a grin, gesturing to the boxes we just finished unpacking in our bedroom. I approve, though I think you should add a scene where Dominic insists on cooking River breakfast every morning. That's very domestic for an alpha CEO. I'm a complex character, he said solemnly, then ruined it by pressing a kiss to my neck. Your readers will love it. I laughed, saving my document. My story had taken on a new dimension since Dominic and I had gotten together. It was still fiction, still fantasy, but now it was grounded in something real. Have I mentioned that I love you? Dominic murmured against my skin. Once or twice today. Not enough, then. He spun my chair around to face him. I love you, Riley Chen, my talented, creative, slightly embarrassing Omega who writes fanfiction about me. Hey, it's good fanfiction. The best, he agreed, pulling me up into his arms. Though I still think the real story is better. As he kissed me, I had to admit he had a point. Some stories were better lived than written, but I was going to write about it anyway. The end. And that's the end of today's story. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe for more BL stories. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.